Well, hello everyone. I'm John McLeroy, and I'm one of your hosts for the Florida Aviation Network. And we're broadcasting live and in the clear from the Aerospace Discovery at the Florida Air Museum at Sun and Fun for the 44th annual Sun and Fun Fly-In and Exposition. If you haven't been, you need to be here now because it is just a fantastic day. We've got a huge array of people that we're going to meet, sights that we're going to see, sounds that we're going to hear. You're going to feel the action, and we're going to try and bring it to you live as we talk to some of the greatest people that you're going to meet today. So one of those people is a good friend that I love interviewing, and it's along with my co-host, Mackenzie Barber. This is Steve McCoughey, the Executive Director of the Seaplane Pilots Association, and it's really nice to have you with us. Welcome today.
Thank you, John.
Yeah,
it's great
put
to
her
be
there.
Here
sure,
again.
I'll shake your hand. Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. So we're gonna discuss several important issues to the SPA, the Seaplane Pilot Association, as we go forward in 2018. You know, I want to hear a lot about some of the activities that are going on, and Mackenzie's going to ask you some questions about the youth initiatives that are happening with SPA too. So, man, what's front and center for you these days? What's going on in your world?
Oh, God, we've got so much going on. It's hard to even begin.
Right?
You
It's
know,
always
we
that
were
way.
going through all the news stories, especially this particular show. So, you know, the most exciting thing is right now, we were just given the keys on opening day to a brand new Progressive Aerodyne Sea Ray
Wow.
adventure. So that's amazing.
Look, if you've never been in a Sea Ray, or get in touch with the SPA and get a ride and take a look at what it's like to fly an SPA Sea Ray now, huh?
Oh, it's great. So, you know, I was looking for an airplane to take on a U.S. tour to go out and spread goodwill for the general aviation community and to allow the non-flying community and the flying community to get exposure to what we do as seaplane pilots and the amazing benefits of our lifestyle. And so I was searching for a manufacturer to kind of support us in those efforts, and you know, lo and behold, the amazing staff at Progressive Aerodyne came on board, and here we are with an airplane. 27
years as a legacy to the seaplane community, and I like where you're going with this lifestyle idea, you know, because what seaplane pilots know is how it is to have that lifestyle. You mentioned to me that, you know, you get to pull up on the beach, and you know, there could be the space shuttle and there could be a seaplane, and you know, quite frankly, a lot more people are going to be hanging around that seaplane and discussing what it's like to be that pilot, to be that person that's now, you know, having lunch with their friends and family at the tiki bar, or they're on an adventure to the Northwest. And I know there's a lot of activity going on in Alaska this year, right? It's getting ready to start. They're starting their flying season, and I know
Correct.
you guys are heading up there.
Yeah, from Sun and Fun, we've got about a week break, and then I head up to Alaska, and we'll be doing a tour for the FAA, doing safety seminars. The float plane pilots have been off floats for about 6 months up there now, and the beginning of May starts their float flying season when the water starts melting and it's not hard anymore.
Right.
And so before the beginning of the season, we go out, we do a bunch of safety seminars, try to get the pilots ready and in the mindset to be safe and to go out there and have a good
How many
season.
cities are you going to visit while you're up there? How many bases of operation? I mean, it's like a Bahamian taxi down here in Florida. They use seaplanes up in Alaska.
Yeah, so we'll start out in Anchorage, make our way up through Talkeetna. We'll go to Fairbanks. If we have time, we're going to get down to the southeast. Then we'll end up back in Anchorage at Lake Hood for the Alaska Airmen Show, the quote-unquote bush pilot show.
Right, the fun, the slow flying and the short field. Everybody sees those videos,
so,
right?
it's just an amazing experience up there. Then we come back and go to Colorado, come back, go to Montana. We've got all kinds of stuff going on.
So outreach is a big part of SPA, and I know that you're also involved in youth initiatives and specifically some scholarships. So how about we throw it to Mackenzie for that?
Yeah, I'd love to know, being a young student pilot, what advice you'd give to young pilots and what opportunities the SPA has for young pilots.
Well, that'd be great. So, you know, first off, you can never start too young. So we'll talk about the scholarship, but let's talk about, you know, where you began. So, you know, for myself, when I was 10 years old, I literally hand typed 200 letters to every airline I could get a name and an address for, and I said, I'm 10 years old, I'm in 5th grade, I would love to go work for the airlines. If there's anything that you could send me to help me on my journey, any advice you could give me, any materials you could send me, I would really appreciate it. And I never looked back. And so number one is if you're going to pursue a career in aviation, do so with endless passion. And don't be afraid to go do this to people. Pull on their shirt sleeve, say, I would love to get some exposure. I would love to learn how do I get to the next level? And it's amazing, pulling on those shirt sleeves has been one of the greatest tools I've used in my life to get what I want done, which is kind of what I did at Progressive Aerodyne. But we have a scholarship program for young career track pilots, 18 to 25 years old. If you're a career track pilot and you have an interest in flying seaplanes, you can apply for the scholarship at seaplanes.org at our website. And we award a dozen fully paid, zero-cost seaplane ratings per year to young individuals. And hopefully we can stimulate you along your way, to make that happen for you.
Well, thank you.
So.
It's very good information. I'd like to take advantage of that opportunity.
Okay, well, we'll make sure that we get you in the application process. So.
Well, let's talk about what it's like to train. Training advocacy is one of the avenues of SPA2. And so the flight instructors and the safety seminars that are being hosted, so you've got the training issues and you've got the safety that's integrated in there. Let's talk a little bit about that with someone who's new or even the older pilots. What kind of initiatives are going on in the training scenario? And then also jump right into the safety side. What's happening there?
Yeah, from a training side, one of the things we do, we love events like Sun and Fun. Of course, we're on the grounds here year-round right now. Our office is based right here on Sun and Fun. But one of the great things is that I'm doing 8 workshops and safety seminars here during this event.
Right.
Everything from Seaplanes 101, where we'll teach you what you need to know to get started in seaplane flying, to flying safe in and around Florida. We've got a lot of water in the state. We've got a lot of remote areas despite all the urban development. How do you get around this state and do so? How do you plan your flights in a way that you have them safely and successfully?
We use alligators as runway end identifiers here in Florida. Now, some people might be afraid of that, but that's a touchdown zone marker for some of us that fly around here. So I'm with you, and there's a proper way to handle that. So those seminars I know are making a big difference. So make sure you go onto SPA.org and look at those at the schedule there, right? How about the training initiatives, not just with the scholarship situation, but also that you've got these advocacy groups, they're regions, right? You've got these regional representatives. What's going on there?
Yeah, so in every state we're developing a team of, we want ultimately 5 volunteer field directors in each state, and we have a monthly video conference with them. We're providing them with the tools to do outreach, but also how do you interact with your city and county and state governments in each state? How do you address, those are our feet on the ground, our ears to the water per se,
Sure.
Listening for any advocacy issues that we may need to address to maintain those positive community relationships.
Well, we know that the pilot who's wet footprint on the lake, as it were, is the strongest advocate for the Seaplane Pilot Association and that lifestyle. So, some of the issues that they're running up against are regulatory, and so those regions are going to work with state and local authorities in the governments, but also we're working with like the natural resources folks. I know
Absolutely.
there's a problem with the invasive species in the Northwest. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so right now in the western United States, invasive species are becoming a major issue for all of our waterways in the western United States. Whether you're a fisherman, whether you're a boater, whether you're a seaplane pilot, the spread and the threat of spread of invasive species is a very serious issue.
I don't think people are pointing fingers directly at us, but we're, as an organization, seaplane pilots are taking the lead in that.
As a user group, what we're
right.
trying to do is train our pilots to be self-certified to both inspect their airplanes and decontaminate their airplanes, so that we are part of the solution, not part of the problem. So it's very important that we do that for the resource managers and for the ecosystem.
That's
so
great.
We want to be good stewards of the environment.
Well, that's the highlights that we have for our interview today, and I know it's gone very, very quickly, and so I hope you certainly have learned a lot about the Seaplane Pilot Association, talking with Steve McCoughey, the Executive Director of SPA. Steve, tell them, as we go to close here, what's the best way to connect with SPA?
Well, start out, of course, we've got all the social media pages, Facebook, everything else, but really start out at seaplanes.org, seaplanes.org. And that's the best place to start. There's over 650 pages on that website dedicated to informing the public and where to get a hold of us and how to interact with us.
That's a perfect close to what's going on here. So thank you so much for spending time with us, Steve. I know you're busy and having a good time here at the show, so please continue to keep that smile and outreach that you do. Again, we've talked about this before. I'm a fan, and so keep that good work going on for SPA.org. On behalf of all the seaplane pilots, and thanks for being here again. And Mackenzie and I are going to close out the show here. So I'm John McLeroy, your host at the Florida Aviation Network here at the Sun and Fun 2018, the 44th annual Fly-In and Exposition. We'll see you next time.